Expectations versus reality. This is such a touchy subject in the Philippines because everybody has a different expectation and no two people's reality is exactly the same. So I've narrowed it down to 3 things that I'm going to do my best to try and explain to you based on my personal life experiences and a little bit of the experiences that I've seen other people go through. So let's talk about 3 Philippine expectations that are often not reality. The first expectation that many people come here with is that the culture of the Philippines is the same throughout the country. And I am here to tell you that nothing could be farther from the truth. And you probably say, well, how do you know that? You can't possibly know that. You've been there 8 months. This is how I know that. I have lived in 2 places since I've been here, and I've traveled to many more. The first place I lived was Cebu. Cebu is basically westernized. There is a traditional culture there embedded in the people, but it is nothing like the province. The traditional culture there is basically limited to family culture and religious culture, in my opinion. I didn't see anything any different. Now, when you go to a place like Solano, Bambang, a really provincial area, for example, the culture is entirely different. You're also dealing with almost an entirely different category of people because you come from the Visayan to the Ilocano or Igorot, and you're talking about subsets of a culture. So the culture in the province is different because this is where you tend to find far more conservative values. You tend to find extremely traditional families. People living at home all their life. Kids take care of the family no matter what happens. Their parents and such. And some of that goes on in larger cities like Cebu. But for the most part, this is an entirely different category of doing things. A good example of this would be if you get hit by a car in Cebu, nobody's going to care. Not really. You may find a few people to stop and help you, and I know this from experience. I saw it happen. But nobody's going to go out of their way to help you or, you know, look for the guy that did it. Up here in the province, if you get hit by a car, I wrecked my scooter in the middle of the road. People came out to assist me. They stopped traffic. We were on a major highway. You know, everybody made sure I was okay. Even the guy that pulled in front of me got out of his car, came over to check, offered an apology. You know, much more hospitable, let's say. One of the other most fascinating expectations I find with foreigners and expats is everything is going to be cheap here. I don't need much money. Now, while it is true, the cost of living here is far less than it is in America, the UK, Australia, etc. The westernized countries. There are things here that will shock you as to how much they cost. And really it depends on what kind of lifestyle you want to live, because if you want to live a Western lifestyle here in this country in a major city like Cebu or Manila, for example, it's going to cost you more to live that Western lifestyle than it would if you were in the West. That has also been my experience. What you can go without will determine how cheap your lifestyle or how little your cost of living actually is. For example, the food cost in a place like Bambang where I am now versus a city like Cebu is about 40% less. That in and of itself makes a big difference. But the rent here on the apartments are 4,000 to 8,000 pesos a month, depending on what you're looking for. And what I mean by what you're looking for, most of the apartments here are not something that people that come from the West would just look at and jump into and say, oh my God, I'm so happy to live in this. Because the amenities aren't there, there's no hot water in the showers. Many times there are no Western style flushable toilets. That means you have to flush it with buckets of water, that kind of thing. So what are you willing to give up? That's the question you should probably ask yourself when you're thinking about moving to a country like this. Any developing country is going to give you the opportunity to save some money. It's just up to you how much money you want to save by giving up things that you don't absolutely have to have. If you have to have cable television, high-speed internet, large refrigerators, big spaces to live in, you need hospitals around you and lots of doctors and that kind of thing, then you're going to have to live in a larger city. And it's going to cost you more money 90% of the time to live in that city. And that's something that you should probably be aware of before you make any decisions. And last but certainly not least, the thing that every man coming here wants to know. I am a foreigner. I can get any woman I want. That is the general expectation, whether we admit it or not, that we have when we come here. I will tell you, gentlemen, that is not the case. Particularly in a place like Cebu or Manila. They are used to foreigners. They are immune to the way we look. They give us no special consideration at all. You will charm and you will use your personality and your wits to get their attention, just as you would if you were trying to go out with a girl in America. It's really no different in the very large cities. Now when you come to the province, it's a little bit different. They're not quite as used to seeing foreigners. They're not quite as used to our tricks and, you know, our swag and the things that we use to get the women's attention. So it's a little bit easier here, but you're also getting a different caliber woman. In many cases, a better caliber woman. And that's not to say that the women in Cebu or Manila are not good caliber women or that they don't have any. That's just to say that the girls here are very traditional. They believe in taking care of their man first and foremost, taking care of their family also first and foremost, and you're going to get a good set of really good traditional values in a provincial area with women. And this is where you'll have your most luck most of the time if you are a man coming here, particularly if you're older and not that attractive like myself. You tend to do better here. I got really lucky in Cebu. I got very fortunate here. So life has been good in the women department for me. Pure luck, no skill. I'm nobody. So don't take that as me bragging by any means, because I'm not. In closing, I would just like to say that the Philippines is an amazing country. If you're thinking about coming here, there are many expectations that you will hear via YouTube or friends or people or the internet, websites, whatever the case may be. I encourage you to talk to people that have boots on the ground, that have, you know, have gotten their feet wet, that understand what's really going on, that have been here a little while and can help you understand what you need to do and what not to do, and not set yourself up for failure. Lower your expectations, raise your level of acceptance, and you will have a wonderful time, because it is always better to be surprised rather than disappointed. Peace.